I want to talk about Klipat Noga more and explain in further detail because I've gotten some questions from all 6 of you who watched the last video, and I have to say that the support is just overwhelming. So thanks for indulging me, guys. I can see now why my wife was so worried that I'm going to become an influencer. So anyway, let's talk about Noga. A lot of people ask me questions because I mentioned the concept of the pig, right? That you can't make a pig holy. You can't extract anything positive out of the pig. And they said, well, what happens if you use a pig for a good purpose? Like if you were to, I don't know, use a pig as some delivery vehicle to send something to someone on the back of a pig, if that was even a thing, or whatever. But the concept in general was, okay, fine, you can't eat the pig, but that doesn't mean you can't do a mitzvah with the pig. And so I want to elaborate on Klipat Noga. Again, this concept of the shell, the outer shell, or the rind that conceals the life source within it. And so I'm going to give you a little bit of an analogy. Now, I know everyone here has played Super Mario. I'm talking about OG Super Mario, way back in the day, Nintendo, followed by Super Nintendo, followed by 64. Now, you know those blocks in Mario where you kind of jump up and bang Mario's head into them and they get like coins pop out of them? So not every block had coins. Some of them you would, bump into and they would just break. And others you'd bump into and would have coins. And you could keep bumping them until you tap them out, basically. Now, you didn't really know which ones had which, so you had to just bop them all. But in our case, the Torah tells us which ones have coins and which ones don't. So as we're going around our own Super Mario world, looking for these coins. And why are we looking for these coins? Just to zoom out a little bit. So Hashem tried to create the world initially, and I talked about this in one of the first creation videos back when I had even less followers. Believe it or not, it's possible to have less viewers than now. So I talked about that the idea was that since Hashem is infinitely great and knows nothing other than good, he tried to create this world of just infinite chesed, unlimited kindness and goodness. And so he basically just shined his light with no filter. And the world couldn't really handle that. And there were these vessels that he created, and the light was supposed to go into the vessels, but the vessels were not strong or big enough to, hold that much light. So the vessels all shattered, and the lights that were in the vessel basically got sprinkled all over the universe. Now, so this concept is called avodat habirurim, the work of refinement, so to speak. And basically, the way that creation happened the second time, when Hashem said, okay, I'm going to chill on the amount of light, and I'm going to create this whole filtration system, and that's why we have, curtains or veils that we can't see godliness, because we're so far removed after so many veils and filters that we can't even really see the origin of the source. But back to what we're talking about here. The sparks of the original light got scattered all over the universe. And our job is to basically play Pokemon Go and, look through this lens and find out where they are and basically extract them. And when you extract them, they get elevated. So just like Mario, when you're walking around and you're bopping into things trying to extract the coins, it's sort of the same idea. Now, Torah tells us which blocks to jump our heads into in order to extract it. And what we're talking about here is that anything created from the 3 unclean klipas still receives its sustenance from God. He doesn't really want to sustain them, so he kind of gives it to them in an over-the-shoulder, here you go, I don't really like you, but take it kind of manner. But then there's Noga, which Hashem actually wants to give sustenance to, and he also embeds the coins within Noga. So when the light from the vessels, they have vessels all shattered, and the light went into everything in the world, it went into Klipat Noga, everything that was sustained by Klipat Noga. And so as you're going through the world, anything that is permissible, that has the potential to be used for good, that doesn't mean it's good on its own per se. Just like anything made out of the unclean klipas isn't bad unless you're over something with it, unless you do an avera with it. Otherwise, it can exist, right? The pig has a reason for existence. And as long as it's not part of your life and you're not eating it, it doesn't matter that it's around. It's not like evil that you need to run from it. But just don't do the things that should be permissible, should be done with permissible things with it, because there's no coin in there. You're wasting your time, and on top of that, you end up breaking the Mario block, and now you can't step on it and use it for something else. So just like Mario, you could jump on top of the block and use it as a stepping stone to then jump onto other things, like in the first Mario, where you take those floating elevator things and you jump up over, and then you can skip to whichever world you want without having to play it in the normal order. That doesn't mean that they can't be used, but there's nothing to extract out of them. And anything that is permissible that's made of Klipat Noga is kosher. You can go either way with it, and if you use it for the positive, then you extract the coin. What happens with that coin? That's for another video. But I wanted to get into further detail about this since I got a lot of questions, and hopefully you are as confused as I am right now. Oh, forgot. Fake sponsorship of the day. Tactic therapy. Is your kid a nut job? Well, call Shai Meyerowitz. He'll help you. I promise. I tried it with my own. It works. You know who he is.